in this season, but late in this season, but early for next season. And that's the whole point, is that every time a new season comes along, people who may be interested in trying to become an official get all wrapped up in things like, well, I got tryouts for the team I'm trying out for, and I've got this and that and the other thing, school starting up, all these things that kind of detract from your ability to concentrate on getting registered with USA Hockey and starting the important steps of getting ready for the season. So that's why we wanted to tackle this ahead of time this year, to see if that would help get people signed up, and so we can arm you with that information that you're going to need. So Ryan, I will turn it over to you briefly to at least start sharing that PowerPoint.
All right. Give me a second here. Are you going to monitor the waiting room then?
I will.
Okay.
Might just mention everyone's microphones are muted right now. Feel free to use the chat function to get questions to us during this session. We'll be able to pick those up and monitor the questions as they come in and try to deal with them. As I said, my name is Mark Zallek, Director of Officials for District 9, and that's kind of a fancy title for just saying that I try to help Ryan Swafford out as much as I can. Ryan Swafford also hosting tonight, District 9 Supervisor of Officials. So go ahead.
All right. So again, just a thanks for joining in tonight. Really just trying to get through the basics of what you need in order to become an official, kind of give a little bit of highlight of what it takes, I guess, to become an official, kind of, but more of just a flavor of what officiating is all about. So here's our agenda. We did our introductions, Mark and I did, and then we've got a couple special guests that are going to share some of their stories as we go forward. And then we'll kind of segue into the 5 steps of becoming an official, and then making sure that we've got your contact information if you do choose to become an official. First, before we get going, though, I do have a poll question for everyone. So hopefully those of you that are on a phone or some sort of device will be able to answer the question. But I'm gonna launch the poll for everyone. I need to go back. There we go. Question is, how many officiate other sports? So if you are part of any other officiating, if that would be if you do soccer or basketball or tennis or whatever, if you're an official in any other capacity, just want to chime in there and let us know if you have any experience at all in the officiating realm. So far, we've got 26 out of 26, wow, that have not done any officiating. Okay, not bad. So that's almost the whole group.
I'm trying to record a yes, Ryan, but it won't let me, maybe because I'm a co-host. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll end the poll. I'll just share the results. So that is a overwhelming number of individuals who have not done any officiating before. So that's fine. That's good. Hopefully this will help out in that arena. Okay. So that's Mark and I. And our first special guest is Shannon. And Shannon is a native of Woodbury, Minnesota. I know that she's currently down at MSU Mankato for her graduate program. She does some work for us down here. And I'll let her explain the rest of her story herself. Shannon.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Shannon Matsko, originally from Woodbury. That's actually where I started my officiating career. I was in high school and I got a car for my 16th birthday, well, my mom's old car. And she said, how are you going to fill it up with gas? And sooner or later, money from Christmas and birthdays ran out and I needed a job. So I looked into becoming a hockey official. something that could work with my schedule while playing high school hockey. Not a lot of jobs offer the ability to only work on Sundays when I wasn't playing hockey. So I made it fit in my schedule and I kind of fell in love with it. I was able to then continue officiating when I went and played college hockey over in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. And now I'm down in Mankato reffing. So it's been about 6 or 7 years. I do everything from USA Hockey, Minnesota State High School League. I do a little bit of college, NCAA, junior hockey, which is at NA3HL, college club hockey, and yes, even men's league. So officiating has brought me a ton of great opportunities to travel. I was just in Michigan. I've been to Colorado. I was just invited to go out to Pittsburgh to ref later in March, and then all across the state of North Dakota and Minnesota. So it's been a good opportunity for me to continue hockey after I'm no longer a player. I just graduated from my undergrad from Stevens Point, Wisconsin this past year. So this is my first year without playing hockey. So more on the officiating side, but it's been good. A lot of great opportunities, and Minnesota is a great place with a lot of great hockey. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thanks, Shannon. Wondering if, so is your season wrapped up for the year now?
Almost. So I was just in Michigan last weekend doing the club hockey stuff. So ACHA. I was in Detroit and Flint, Michigan. And then this weekend we have Bantam AA playoffs in Mankato for USA Hockey. And then in 2 weeks, I'm up in Stillwater for the U15 girls state tournament. And then that will kind of wind down this season for me.
Well, that's still quite a bit of hockey compared to some people. So Shannon, what do you have for words of advice for anyone considering jumping into it?
Jumping in. Yeah, I would just do it. Even if you're only available those Sundays after your high school practice or the days you're not practicing, reach out to your local supervisor of officials or someone you know that deals with scheduling. It's a really flexible job opportunity, and it's one that you can make a lot of money just working a couple hours a week. Not a lot of people can say they make $30 an hour in high school. So just get into it, see how it is. A lot of programs or youth organizations have mentors or mentoree programs in place that will show you the ropes. They'll put you on the ice for your first or second game with a more experienced official. So that person's there to kind of show you the ropes and teach you the game. And it can just be a fun opportunity to meet a lot of great people.
Absolutely. Do you have any fun anecdotes from anything memorable that's happened this season or in other seasons past?
Ooh, I had the opportunity to work the Hockey Day Minnesota this year. So I got to do 3 outdoor games in Mankato. The first one was the Bantam A game was on Monday. That was a good temperature. It was like 20 degrees that day. Wednesday, I had the U12A girls outside and it was negative 20 degrees. And that one was a little chilly. And then on Saturday morning, we had the Edina Andover girls tournament who were ranked first and second in the state at the time. And that was about 10 degrees. So it was a great week overall. But yeah, that's probably the most exciting part of my season so far.
Fantastic. And that's so it's almost like the equivalent of you've already worked the girls state tournament this year without it happening yet.
Yeah, almost. I would have thought Edina and Andover would have been the championship game as they were just this past year, but Andover ended up going the whole season being undefeated. So it was kind of cool to be a part of their season.
Yeah. Well, thanks for those comments. Just one other thing, you've got a lot on your resume already, and you're not nearly as old as I am. At seminars when we're starting people out, we tend to tell them, especially for the girls and the women, that you can climb the ladder pretty quickly. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, for sure. Especially if a lot of people, or if you have that experience playing hockey, you know how to skate. There is a lot of opportunity to climb, especially on the women's side. Both Minnesota Hockey and USA Hockey offer a ton of officiating development camps that go on. This past summer, I did both the MHOA, so the Minnesota Hockey Officials Association camp that was held up in St. Cloud. That correlated with the high performance U15 girls camp up there. So we got to work a lot of good hockey. And then I also did USA Hockey's Futures Camp, which is the first stepping stone to try to earn my international certification. So this summer, I'm looking to go to the next step after Futures, which is the high performance camp. But yeah, the women's, there's a few women officials across the country. So we're kind of a tight-knit group. You get to know a lot of people, especially at those camps and national tournaments.
That's great. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And I'm sure that if someone has questions for you specifically, we can pass those along to you and get answers back. Ryan, I don't know if our other auspicious guest has arrived yet. We can forward on the slides and talk a little bit about who's supposed to be showing up.
Sure.
Here he is, Andrew Bruggeman. Some of you may have seen a couple of these pictures already. Andrew just back from China, where he worked the 2022 Olympics, the Winter Olympics, in the men's side of the games. And he was one of the referees selected, and one of, I can't recall now how many is this the U.S. team on the left there, Ryan? I believe that is on the left side of that slide. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I think so. I think those are the U.S. officials that are out there. Or that went to the Olympics, sorry. Oh, somebody wants to know if your dad is Bob Motzko. Shannon. Oh, hold on. I'll unmute you.
Thanks, but no, he is not. My grandpa and Bob Motzko's dad can put the family tree back together, but there's not much relationship between us. I think we're fourth cousins, third cousins, so not much relationship, but I do get that question a lot, especially in the hockey world. And yes, that is the female crew, the US crew that was part of the Olympics this past year.
Yeah. I remember the numbers right. That lines up perfectly with who was selected.
And Jamie, Jamie's iPhone, Jamie had asked a question about this was of Shannon, any advice for students looking to get into reffing? I think she kind of covered that, but anything else on that? I mean, we're going to have some more advice coming during this session, just to go through some of the steps you'll want to take to, get signed in, registered, get ready for taking a seminar and all that kind of thing.
Sure.
Another shot of Andrew. This one actually was taken in southern Minnesota at one of the high school hockey games a few years ago. And because he did graduate from Mankato West, he played for Mankato West. And I had I don't know if it's an honor to have officiated some of his games, but he was always a talkative player out there on the ice. Always had an opinion about calls that were being made. So I guess a natural progression to move on to officiating and on the other side of things. Andrew, I don't think you are on yet. If you are, let us know. We could probably start moving on. We can come back to this, to talking to Andrew when he gets here. So go ahead, Ryan.
Should be advanced.
Yep.
Oh, so you want me to take over? Okay. Yeah. So the idea of continuing to play, that's one thing where we get quite a few officials. So those of you that are not still playing hockey in high school or younger, but still want to be part of the game, and that's one of the big things that I feel. Mark and I really didn't talk about our experience at all, or where we come from and how we did things. But I would say that one of the probably more satisfying components of officiating hockey is being in a game that you really enjoy. And, you may not be playing anymore, but you can still be a part of some pretty awesome experiences. Shannon laid out a bunch of them already that you can, that she was a part of. I've been a part of plenty myself. So this will be my 33rd, or this was my 33rd year as an official. So, and I also grew up in a similar area to Shannon. I grew up in St. Paul area, and I worked in District 8 that she probably did as well with Paul Moen. So we had the same supervisor. Now Paul's really old, so I'll just tell you that. So he's been around a long time. And so yeah, I mean, I did a lot of what she did. I got in when I was 14, and I was looking to make a little bit of extra money when I was playing still, because I was still in Bantams and just starting high school, and looking at the future of buying a car and paying for insurance and paying for gas and all that jazz. And it was one of those things that definitely initially drew me into starting to officiate. I think looking back on it now, I certainly got so much more, with working several state tournaments as a youth official, working several state tournaments at the high school league, working a couple of national tournaments with USA Hockey, working college hockey. So, I mean, I've done quite a bit. I worked junior hockey for several years when we had, when it wasn't called the 83, it was long before that. Well, I guess there was a couple of years that I did do any 83 hockey, but primarily in the USHL. So yeah, I think there's a ton of opportunity if you really want to work at it, or it's just the local level, just helping out your local association with officials. I think one of the big things why Mark and I were talking about hosting this tonight is because in District 9 and District 4, which is the southern part of the state, we've got so many pockets. Oh, there's Andrew. So many pockets of official or lack of officials in these towns that it's causing some real problems in making sure that games are being covered. So that's one of the big reasons that we started to think about ways that we could get people involved, kind of talk about our experiences and growing up through the the different programs and giving back to anybody that wants a little bit of information on how to get involved. Because I think one of the big things that we struggle with is, and I don't know, we don't need to get into a lot of details, but one of the big things that I would like to see is a lot more female officials in Minnesota hockey working. Right now, we don't have a lot. I think right around 250 female officials that are registered in youth hockey in Minnesota, which is a fraction. I don't know what the fraction is. I'd have to get my calculator out. But we've got about 2,200 registered officials in Minnesota, and only 200 to 300 of them are females. And one of the big things that I point out in a historical sense is when we got to the point in the mid 90s, we doubled our game counts with the advent of all female hockey coming online with high school and then the youth programs. But what we didn't double is our number of officials. So we didn't get a bunch of new female officials going, hey, yeah, let's all start officiating the girls' games. No, we had the same people that were doing the boys' games, doing the girls' games, and we never really got a big push from the female side to get more female officials. So one of my goals is really to try to promote the female side of the house as much as possible to get more females involved. So with that said, now that we've got our super awesome special guest, Andrew Bruggeman, online, I will have to unmute him. Hold on here. Let me do this. See if it unmutes him. Can we hear you?
Yeah, how we doing, everybody?
Oh, we can hear him. Great. Hold on. Let me go back. We got to highlight your slides here.
Oh, geez.
There he is.
Yep. Well, hi, everybody. I apologize for my my late arrival here. It's been a busy week and a half here since getting back from Beijing and trying to prep to go back to Germany here on Monday. And I was finally able tonight to take a second to go have some dinner with family and a girlfriend. So I apologize for being late, but I don't really apologize that much. Anyways, really appreciate Ryan and Mark heading this one for us. Looking for new officials, right? A little bit of my backstory. I started refereeing at 12. Just working games in Mankato, squirt games, pee-wee games, whatever was available. Did that for quite a while. I was lucky to work with some senior officials in Mankato and in the surrounding area, like Ryan, like Mark, some other guys, Ryan Nolander, you maybe heard the name, Ethan Anderson, guys like that who kind of helped me along the way, helped me kind of foster a love of officiating more than anything, right? And taking a little bit of heat from me in certain situations on the ice. So from youth hockey, worked a couple state tournaments in Minnesota, a couple national tournaments with USA Hockey, moved into the officiating development program, working the North American League, USHL, spent 3-4 years there. And I'm in my 6th year now of professional hockey. I've been in the American League for 5, the East Coast League for 6. And this is my first year working in Germany in their top pro league too, which is a really, really cool experience to be able to go and experience that, take in a different culture. So I've made 2 trips over there now. I have another trip here, like I said, leaving Monday, that will hopefully conclude in working a final for them, but that's to be seen. Everything has to be earned at that level. Obviously, as our slide shows here, it's I'm a busy guy. IHF's huge for me. I know these guys have probably alluded to it before I jumped on, but was really, really fortunate to represent USA Hockey in a gold medal game this year at the Olympics. So it's been a crazy wild ride for me for the last 18, 19 years now. And I'm really looking forward to doing what I can to help grow officiating at the younger levels, whether that's walking people through registrations and requirements or doing some coaching or supervising, which is a disgusting word. We like coaching because that's what we're here to do. But yeah, if anybody has questions, if there's anything else that I missed, Mark, Ryan, did I miss anything here?
Any big memories coming back from China? I mean, obviously that experience just in and of itself is huge, but anything fun behind the scenes or anything during a game, whatever?
You know, we were pretty locked down over there with COVID restrictions, but closing ceremonies was pretty neat. Getting to watch all that, we were able to go and see that in person. It was pretty cold, but and of course we were ill prepared because why would hockey referees ever be prepared to go somewhere cold? But closing ceremonies were good. Gosh, just the first lap. You know, who was my first game? I can't even remember who my first game was over there now. But you kind of skate out, and it was limited fans, but you take your lap before the game. You kind of take a breath, and you go, "Oh my God, we're at the Olympics here. Like this is pretty special," and something that kind of really got put on my goal list maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And to just be able to check that box, and it was a really special time. And I was able to work with, you know, some really good friends, both American and Canadian guys, and then a lot of the other European guys I knew as well from previous events. So it was just a special group that we had, and we were a pretty close pretty close group, which is fortunate because we did spend a lot of time together, sitting in hotels and, you know, telling stupid stories and solving the world's problems. But overall, yeah, just a great experience. And that first time stepping on the ice, I probably looked like I looked in that picture right there, just smiling ear to ear, laughing it up, because that's the best way to go about it.
Awesome. Hey, we're so appreciative of you jumping on the call tonight and sharing some of that with us. We wish you all the best, and as you return to Germany, if anyone has questions, follow-up questions for Andrew, we can relay them on via email or text, and we can try to get the answers back to you from him. But again, Andrew, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And we look forward to watching you progress in the future.
Yeah, thank you guys. Again, I really like what we got going here, trying to get recruitment up, because I think it's a lot of cool opportunities as officials, and it's not just at the high levels. It's regional tournaments, state tournaments, district tournaments. I got millions of stories that we probably can't tell on the Zoom call from those types of things. But yeah, it's a great way to stay involved in the game and to you know, really meet some new people and make some lifelong friends. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing here, and for anybody who's interested, by all means, I would encourage you to sign up.
Thanks again so much. We'll let you go, get packed for Germany, and we'll carry on the rest of the meeting here, starting to get into some of those steps involved.
Perfect. Thanks, Z. Appreciate you.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Mark, as we're going to roll into the requirements here in a second.
All right. You know, this quote from Geraldine Glenn's kind of interesting. She's a double IHF referee, University of Minnesota. She had no idea that officiating would offer the same feeling she had while playing. The people you meet are incredible. They become your team and lifelong friends. Andrew just alluded to that. And again, that whole part about, you know, if you love the game of hockey and you've ever wondered, like, well, what are you going to do after hockey, after you're done playing? Officiating is such a great avenue to stay in the game, and, you know, you're giving back to the sport, but you're also getting a chance to make money, get some exercise, have a lot of fun, and you know, make all these friends and just continue that relationship with a sport that's so great. Go ahead, Ryan. Brian Murphy, some of you or some of us have met Brian, who's an NHL official. He makes appearances at camps. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan. He's a Minnesota gentleman, or is he from out east?
That's a good question. I don't think he's from Minnesota.
But, you know, he got into it to start to pay for college, and kind of like Shannon had said earlier, how is she going to pay for gas? And especially now, gas at over $3 a gallon. Some of you might be staring at that same problem if you have a car in the driveway that needs to get you somewhere. You can make some money doing this, along with enjoying the sport. Go ahead. We already talked a little bit about this, of where this can lead. You know, it can stay as local as your own association that you get involved with. You know, you're a bantam and you want to get start doing some squirt games or some U10s, some peewees. Usually you're, as an official, if you're still playing, you're usually working games that are under the level you're currently at. But it can lead to all kinds of other, you know, things on more of a national level. And as Andrew just got back for the Olympics, testament to that. And he's one of our local guys. So it's all kinds of opportunities if you want to try to chase them. Hey, look at that guy on the left. He look familiar?
He's ugly.
It's I think that's Ryan Swafford dishing out a penalty, or about to. So the steps involved, go ahead. I'll let you take it over, Ryan. And you might want to transition to the actual USA Hockey website if you can, but that's up to you.
Sure. I don't think we're going to do the website at right this second. I mean, we might in a little bit here, but I think for everybody that's on the call, right here is the basic way to get involved. I know that there's a lot of players and a lot of coaches that also want to become officials. And one of the questions that we get most often is, well, if I'm registered as a player, if I'm registered as a coach, do I have to register as an official, or can I just sign up? Well, it's just like anything else. If you're a coach, you got to register as a coach. If you're a player, you got to register as a player. And if you're an official, you got to register as an official. So there's 3 separate signups for all 3 of those categories, and they all come with their own set of fees and whatnots. So I think right now the level 1 fee is $45, I think, or 35 or 45, one of the two. They keep kind of adjusting that, but it's somewhere in there to get started as an official. And then what we do now is everyone that is a brand new level 1 official will have you come to a in-person seminar, and typically we host at least 2 of these in the region a year, and they usually happen in the October, November timeframe. And they are, and we realize that that's a little late for some of the seminars, because a lot of the other seminars that go on throughout the state are done in the late August, September timeframe. But we've historically found that individuals that are doing other fall sports don't have the bandwidth at that time to usually attend these seminars, and they can be kind of involved. And it does take a commitment for at least a half a day to come to a seminar. And what does that include? So right now, as a brand new level 1, you'd come to Rochester, was where we held the level 1 seminar last year, or we had it in Wyndham this year as well. And then I think we have one in LeSueur. So we had 3 of them this year in the area. So once you register, and you have to pick a seminar to go to. And there's a little, it's not super intuitive, but there's a button you have to click once you register to register for a seminar. And registration opens. So this is key for everybody. Registration to become an official opens on June 1st. And that's when you can sign up to be an official. Not all the seminars will be posted at that time, but you can certainly register at that point if you want to start the process. And you come to a seminar. What we do is we go through the online components that all the other level 2, 3, and 4 officials go through in the seminar. And that would include basic positioning and a little bit of mechanics of where to be and how to drop pucks, signaling, how to assess penalties, that kind of deal. But understand that's only one day. Most of your work is done at your local level with a senior official or partners, and they're going to mentor you through the process in order to, kind of learn the ropes of becoming an official. The other part of that is an on-ice session. So that on-ice session is where we take some of that classroom diagrams where it shows basic positioning, and we apply it. We show you where to stand, how to call penalties, when to call penalties, the process. There is a cadence for it. It isn't as easy maybe as it sounds. But once you learn it, and once you kind of you go through it a couple times, it becomes easier and easier. We go through some puck drops and then face-off locations, and then that's basically it for the on-ice session. After that, there's some online modules that you might have to complete as part of the safe sport if you're over 18, and background checks. The background check isn't any modules. You just have to pay for a background check. And then you have to take the open book exam. And the open book exam is once you've completed the seminar, you go online, you can use your book, take as long as you want, and complete the actual online rules exam. So those are the basic 5 steps to becoming an official. I'm seeing the chat blow up. Do we have a lot of chat questions, or are these?
Yeah, Ryan, I had asked people to put in their name and email address so that we could try to stay in touch. We've got a slide that we kind of hit on that too, but I figured as people could start getting a jump on that.
Shannon, was there something that I missed in the chat?
No, I was just going to tell you that it's people's contact information. So you're going to keep going.
Okay. Okay. So this is what Mark has just instructed you to do. I think it's crucial that everyone at least write down Mark's email address. And as we get closer to the season, or at least closer to June 1st, and you think that this is something that you might want to do, and we can help you out, we're here to help. So I guess pending any questions from anybody, that's kind of the nuts and bolts of becoming an official.
Yep. So if you haven't already entered your email address, a lot of people have already, and we thank you for that. If you haven't yet, you can open up the chat function. It's one of the little speaker bubble down there in the toolbar. Open that up, enter that in the comments, and we'll be able to track back and start that communication process with you. Go ahead and jot down my email address too, markzallek@gmail.com. Feel free to fire off questions for me as they come up. Every year, we at registration time, we get some questions from, parents trying to register their kids to get started. One thing to keep in mind as you head into this too is that a lot of the different associations use a scheduling system online for scheduling their officials for games. And if you have like 2 officials or 3 officials in a single household, everyone needs their own independent email address. So that's something to kind of think about ahead of time too. You don't have to have that to actually get registered for USA Hockey, but that'd be one of the later steps involved as far as actually getting scheduled for games in your local community.
Yeah, and I guess I would even go so far to say that if you're going to set somebody up, a minor child with an email address anyway, most kids now. I mean, my 6-year-old has an email address, for his school. But if you've got an email address, because I think Mark kind of hit on this, a lot of the questions that we get from parents trying to sign up officials, especially if they're coaches or they've got other players in the house, because that player profile and the referee profile have to be separate. You just can't register an official under your profile. They have to be, it's a separate profile that has to get set up for each person. So that does cause a little bit of problem with the early registration component. Just to kind of keep that in mind as you go forward. But I wanted to mention Mark Zallek. So Mark Zallek @gmail.com, and Zallek is spelled with 2 L's. Those of you that aren't able to see the chat, if you're on your phone or whatever, Zallek @gmail.com.
All right. We are getting close to wrapping this up, Ryan. I just allowed everyone to be able to unmute themselves if they would so want to jump in and ask any questions live. I don't see anyone raising their hand or asking quite yet.
Yeah, so anybody, if they have a question, you just go ahead and unmute, you can ask, and otherwise we'll hang on here for a couple minutes and then we'll call it a night.
Definitely want to thank everyone for attending tonight. Hope you learned a few things. Hope you've got a little more excitement going or interest going in the whole prospect of getting started in stripes. I noticed we've got, let's see, I don't know where everyone's from on this call tonight, but I know we've got one individual from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, tuned in. He's already an experienced official, about 20 years in, but my oldest son. Hi, Taylor.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, there he is, Taylor. Hey, as long as we.
I'm sorry that they're not paying you enough in southern Minnesota to afford AirPods. Look at those beats you got on your head there.
At least you guys have matching hairlines.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
That's economical.
I'm just trying to keep.
With a haircut budget in
our
family is quite low.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help keep the glare down for the viewers. in their- So, Taylor, you've been officiating for about 20 years. Maybe you had a couple years off. But any words of advice for everyone?
No, I mean, I thought the guests who spoke were great. This is an opportunity to have fun, continue in the sport. I always say it gets really fun when you start skating and advancing to those levels beyond where you stopped playing. That's when you feel really privileged to be out there on the ice and to get to share the ice with those players. So enjoy that. And if you know, put in your time, get improve and get better, and then it'll start paying you back.
What's that sweatshirt you're wearing?
I think it's a Hockey Day Minnesota.
Look at that.
I haven't officiated a game in, no, that's not true. I worked a state tournament in New Ulm last year with you. But I haven't been a hockey official in Minnesota for 7 or 8 years now. So this has been a one way. I've lived in Michigan, lived in Pennsylvania. One way to stay involved with something that I grew up doing and loved. And so wherever you go after you're done, wherever, there's always hockey to be reffed.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, because that's an important part, is that, people that like, well, Shannon out of Egan, and now she's in Mankato, but she moves and she takes her job right along with her. You've done that same thing, Taylor, moving to Michigan and going to school there for a while. And well, actually St. John's first before that, and working out of college up there, and then Michigan, and now Pennsylvania. So it's a great portable job and a lot of fun. I think with that, we will say good night, and thanks once again, Ryan and Shannon. Brugge is already off the call. Taylor, thanks for chiming in. And
you promised me a talk about duckweed. Where's the duckweed talk?
You have to pay tuition at the University of Pittsburgh before I can give that talk for free. Come on.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Job security, man.
Okay. All right.
Fair enough. All right. Thanks again, everyone. Look forward to meeting you down the road here at seminars coming up.